Today's show of Rolling Bones No Boundaries is going to be probably my favorite episode of the year, not because it's bigger than all of the other ones or that we went to some exotic place. It really comes back to the core of who we are and what we do. You know, Brad, Mark, and myself all had somebody introduce us into the great outdoors. Today's episode, you're gonna see my son harvest a fantastic trophy mule deer. You're gonna see a great friend and client of ours, Jim Bringhurst, have his son Caden shoot a great mule deer. And then my buddy Russell, he harvests a great management deer that has one of the craziest set of antlers we've ever shot. This is a special episode. We want to honor family, friends, and as Realtree would say, the great outdoors. We're back here at the Bone Cave, which obviously we've said 1,000 times is our favorite place to come to and go from. Whether we're putting on a new suppressor, working on a new load, or doing something with one of our sponsors, it's just great to always be in here. You know, today in what we're doing, in a world that is so confused about, you know, what's right and what's wrong, and political correctness and not political correctness, one of the things, Brad, I love about the outdoor industry is that people value relationships in each other. You know, I really believe hunting is probably, no, I really think it is. I would challenge you to think of a sport or a tradition that's longer running than hunting. There's not one, because somebody had to go hunt for food and they had to teach somebody else how to hunt for food. And we don't have to hunt to fill the freezer just to eat today in our society. But somebody took you hunting, somebody took me hunting, and it was way more than killing an animal, way more than that. And I know you've talked about it a bunch, the gentleman who introduced you into the outdoors.
Yeah, you know, I started out, I was a kid like all of us did, and it was in my blood, you know, somehow. I didn't even know what it was all about. And my dad wasn't a big hunter. We had family friends, Randy Duncan, and we would have Thanksgiving with the Duncans. And Dad said, oh yeah, Brad, he's got this hunting bug, something fierce, and he's stumbling around trying to get a deer. Randy goes, hunting is the glue that holds my family together. And you know, his family's all there. It's Thanksgiving. He said, tomorrow I'll pick him up at 5 in the morning or whatever. And so that was, you know, I'm 12 years old, and Randy passed away a couple years ago, but he really got me going and pushed me in the right direction, was my mentor. I learned a lot from him, and you know, just had unbelievable, wonderful memories.
Mark, you're in a different situation because you grew up a hunter, but your dad might have had a little bit of brainwashing of that. Would that be accurate?
Very accurate. Yeah, from ever since I could walk, I was running the trap line with him. And that was fox and coyotes and badgers. And, you know, every time we went out, you learned something new, and it, you know, and while you were trapping, you always made time on the day checks when you're checking traps to call fox or coyotes. So from a very young age, we called in tons of fox and coyotes. And I honestly don't know, probably 6, 7 years old, I probably shot my first fox or coyote, you know, that we called in. So
how old were you when you started big game hunting?
As soon as I could.
6,
you know,
7.
yeah, I was going with him rifle hunting deer right away, you know, when I was, you know, that age, 6, 7. And I mean, it was an unbelievable time. And my dad still says it. He says that was the best time of his life was running the trap line.
Really, doing that. Yep. As a kid growing up in Iowa, it was very similar for me. You know, obviously I didn't grow up in the same town as you guys did. There was a gentleman by the name of Tom Bretman who owned the local feed mill, and we did everything with them. And my dad wasn't much of a hunter, but he was, and he was a bow hunter. And I just did the same thing you did. At 12 years old, I got a bow for Christmas. And I started stumbling around. It took me, but he really didn't have a lot. He took me out a couple times. It took me 3 years of every day out in the field to shoot my first deer. And it was a doe with my bow. And I don't know if I've ever been more proud of an animal as I was that one. My brother and I had to go, it was on a Sunday, my brother and I had to go to school on Monday morning, And I shot it that night, and we lost track of it, and we started making semicircle loops around it just instinctively. And I heard my brother yell, hey, he's over here. And that deer was bedded down up against the log, and I called my mom. Remember the old phones that
Right.
So I called my mom and said, I'm not going to school today, I found my deer. And we threw it in the back of my brother's old Monte Carlo. We didn't have pickup trucks and all that stuff, right? What we did on the farm, but they were, so anyway, we threw it on there. We didn't even take the guts out of the thing. We just took it home, and I think I sat there and looked at it for like 45 minutes and just went, oh my gosh,
That happened.
That happened. That's exactly right. And the joy that hunting brings, in my opinion, is the most organic set of emotions that you can possibly ever have. I mean, it's just so, it's like, oh, even like this last week, whether it be Tom Bretman or Mark Cassavan or the gentleman's name that took you on, Randy Duncan, those guys were givers of tradition. And I know I watch you take people hunting, I watch you take people hunting, we take people hunting, and it's just fun. It's so fun to watch this youth get involved in it. What's going to happen with Lucas? Because is he going to be able to find the deer at 350 yards? Is he going to be able to make the shot? Is he going to get excited, buck fever? Rolling Bones No Boundaries would like to thank our sponsors, the Montana Rifle Company, Leupold Optics, Armscore Ammunition, Seal One Gun Care Products, and Realtree Max One. Jim Bringhurst is a great client and even a better friend of Rolling Bones Outfitters. And Jim has hunted all over the world and is really probably one of the best mule deer hunters that I know. And Caden got a tag and he got a tag, and I said, listen, let's put your son on a good mule deer buck.
And we've saved a good deer for Maestro here. There's a lot of deer on this place, so we're gonna go whack him. He's got great fronts, just a great deer, great mule deer. So we're gonna go put his Montana tag to work right now. What do you think?
But hold on, Brad. How long have we been here?
Oh, 7.5 minutes.
And we were thinking we could get the deer shot at 150 yards. We break the ridge, and the does came around and cut back. And so now they get all nervous and they bounce out there about 300 yards, and the buck's jamming a doe. I mean, he's right behind a doe. And we can't get him, and it's so hard for a 14-year-old kid that's never shot anything. You know how that is. And he's trying to get it in the scope, and you got 300 yards now that we're contending with, and the deer is bouncing around. There's a whole bunch of deer. So there was some complexity to get him on the deer, to make sure the right deer was identified, and then on top of that, to make a 300-yard shot for your first shot on a deer is not easy.
Clear, shoot him right there, shoot him. You just smoked him. You just smoked him. You just smoked him. Get up here. You just smoked him.
Caden flat delivered.
Good job, buddy.
Nice. That's 90, that was 300 yards. Great job. Great job. Get in here, Dad. That deer didn't go anywhere.
Good job, buddy.
Father-sons are at it. So this is Caden's first buck. What do you think, Caden?
It's awesome.
Did you have fun out here?
Definitely.
Hey, what do you say to your dad for dragging your butt all the way from Utah to South Dakota?
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. The old thanks, Dad. I tell you what, I don't think there's a better thing that you can do than take a young man hunting and show him where the original grocery store was.
These guys really know how to get it done, and they're pros. They set Caden up real quick with the gun, showed him everything. He looked at the deer. They says, hey, hit him in the boiler. And he says, when can I shoot? They says, get it done right now. He pulled the trigger, the deer dropped, and it was great. So these guys have got a great program, especially for the youth. They're telling me it's my turn next, so
So Jim sees his boy kill a deer, and it's early in the day, and he got excited when his son killed a deer, and we wanted him to shoot a management deer. We wanted to take some management deer off of this place. And so we climbed up and hiked up as high, and we got up there, and Caden and him and Brad and I, and we looked at deer after deer after deer after deer, and we found a great heavy horn 3-point. And we're like, dude, we're gonna shoot that deer, great management buck. And wouldn't you know it, the thing gives us the slip. Well, that's it for day one with the Bringhurst. And we're coming out, and I don't know if it was you or him spotted this giant, well, it's all relative, giant, but it only had 2 points.
Yep. Goofball.
And it was just a goofball. It was super old deer. And that's the deer you know is going to run off all the bucks because there's nothing to hook up to those horns.
Okay, send it. Send it.
Nice job, Jim. That a boy.
Did it just drop right down?
Oh yeah. Dude, that is the tallest, goofiest deer.
Is that the coolest management deer, Jim? Thank you for shooting him.
Yeah.
We literally said, that's a wrap. And Jim goes, there's a buck right down here. And we looked, and there's this giant 2-point in there, just 17 inches tall, probably 20 inches off his head. And he just pounded him at 314 right down the hill with a horrific wind.
Yeah.
That was a good shot.
That was a good shot, Jim.
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks again.
What a day.
Boy, that's right. In true Rolling Bones fashion, we did the old one shot, that's all. And Caden done it, and now I've done it. So, you know, Rolling Bones, they're just the way they like to roll. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Hey,
This
thank
is
you.
awesome.
What a special day. Caden killed his first buck, and we were looking for management deer today. You know, we got this property. We're trying to build deer on it over the next 3-4 years. Ty and Trenton have a beautiful place here, and they have allowed us to lease it, and we're going to start growing big mule deer just for the Rolling Bones crew, you know, and to show what Montana has to offer with all our other camps. And so this is another great adventure, man. Caden, you're the hero of the day. Great job.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You just never see stuff like this.
So this week we're on Russell Swack's ranch, and one of my best friends in the world. I've been hunting with him for 17 years. Mark, you've been on this ranch that Lucas and I are on, well, Russell's ranch before.
It's when it's good, it's good. This year, our deer population came back, and that place is full of deer then. So
Yes.
you can just cruise around and pick through stuff.
And that's exactly what happened. Russell said, listen, we were talking, he said, we should just management deer hunt. And I'm like, that's absolutely cool. And so he's telling me, he says, listen, I saw a 3-pointer a year ago that if we can find him, he's gonna be over 30 wide, and he's probably 20 to 22 inches tall in the back. And then he says, I have another deer that's probably 165, 170 inch deer on the one frame, but then the other frame twists out, and I bet it's 22 inches long, and it's like this big branch that twists up.
Holy smokes, he's cool. We were out coyote calling probably, it's been about 3 days ago now, and this buck was 4 miles or so west of here. And the next night, he was standing right down here over the hill in the creek. So he's covering a lot of country, and he's just a really, really odd buck. If he had genetics like this on both sides, he'd be worth keeping around. But you just never see stuff like this. So
Good shooting, man. That is phenomenal. Western South Dakota has a lot to offer. A lot of people, you know, pheasant hunting, whitetails on the creek bottoms, and big mule deer out on these plains, man. Well, this puppy is not going to go to waste. In the state of South Dakota, they have a program in our local butcher shop that you can go in, drop these off. You pay $50 to have them processed, and it's a discounted rate. And all the money goes to the food pantry, or all the food goes to the food pantry. So it's really a good deal, you know. People go, man, you guys shoot so many deer a year, you can't be eating all those. Nope, but somebody is. Absolutely somebody is. Russell has a great management deer down. Like you guys had said, the pressure's off because we're management deer hunting, but now we know the deer we're looking for.
We're cutting along this ridge, just checking for deer. We got that fawn right down there. We don't want it to blow out. We gotta move. But that was a whitetail. He was all plumb whooped out. I mean, he was whooped out, had a broken horn. Didn't even hardly want to run, huh? There's another draw over here. There's a big buck in this area, mule deer buck.
And so we slip over this ridge, and Russell says, I'm looking at the deer over here, and Russell goes, right down here, right down here.
We're good. Get it. Yep. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. That happened quick. We came over this ridge, just sneaked over, and he had 4 does down here, and he did not want to leave them does.
This thing is a toad, and I'm telling you, we've just had an unbelievable time.
Getting bigger, 28 and a half.
I just shot a deer 3 weeks ago that's gonna score in the mid 80s, maybe high 80s, and he's got kickers. He's 32.5 inches wide, but he's not any bigger of a trophy to me than this deer right here, because we've hunted management quality deer, big, mature, four-year deer and older that needed to be taken out of the herd. And you know what's cool about this last 2 days is we've killed every one of those deer we were looking for.
We got everyone we.
But in 2-3 years, we're gonna be back to a place where Russell's gonna have great big framed 4 and 5 point deer on there that are 5 years old and better. And we're gonna be reaping the rewards again, and so will people that come out here and hunt. You just killed the widest buck. People hunt all their life to kill a 29, 30 inch buck, don't they?
I'm still looking for mine.
Rolling Bones No Boundaries is proud to partner with these sponsors: the Montana Rifle Company, Leupold Optics, Arms Corps Ammunition, Seal One Gun Care Products, and Realtree Max One. Closed captioning is sponsored by The Lodge at Deadwood. We'd also like to personally thank you for watching, and we invite you to follow us on Facebook. As a hunter, Rolling Bones Outfitters was created to deliver the experience you've always wanted but didn't know where to start. To begin with, as a Rolling Bones member, you get your own personal hunting representative. From DIY to fully guided, we match the hunter to the hunt. That's rollingbonesoutfitters.com.
So we're hunting this week with family and friends in the western landscape setting, west of the Missouri River, in the buttes and the high prairie. My son Lucas Mehmen is with, and he's never shot a mule deer before. He's pretty excited. So we get to bed that night. I tell him, I said, listen, we're gonna get up tomorrow morning about 5:30, 5:45. Well, lo and behold, we get up the next morning. One, I was super proud of him. He was up before me. And there's this big draw that we always start our hunt on. So we took the buggy, we parked about 100 yards down, we crawled over, and usually what we do is we lay down on our belly, we get on our glasses, and we start glassing. Well, we cracked that ridge and we're looking at these does. And Russell goes, what do you think of that buck right there? And I looked at Russell, I said, we got to shoot that deer. And he goes, I bet that deer's over 30 inches. And I looked across. Now the question is, what's going to happen with Lucas? Because is he going to be able to find the deer at 350 yards? Is he going to be able to make the shot? Is he going to be able to, is he going to get excited, buck fever? And I said to him, I said, right there, there's a giant buck right there. It didn't even get out of my mouth. And he said, I'm on him.
Put it on his shoulder and sense it. Don't shoot him, he's gone. Dude.
Come on. Safety.
Hey, look.
That's incredible.
Give Russ log. You gotta give his log.
I expected like an hour and a half of trying to find a deer, and we just come up over there, right behind right in between those two trees. Huge buck right there. I did not expect that. That's anyone else.
I think you just created a taxidermist bill for your dad.
Nice. Sorry about that, but nice. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and we'd like to express our thankfulness because we couldn't be out here if it weren't for everyone overseas fighting for our freedom. So we'd like to thank all veterans out there and anyone who has family or friends who are fighting for us right now.
Congratulations, Lucas.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great job.
For generations, hunting has brought family and friends together. Fathers and sons and daughters, and husband and wives closer together. It's just an amazing, amazing tradition, and it's an amazing sport.